guys, and welcome back to another episode of From the Newsroom. I'm your host, Ariel Adams. This past Saturday, a women's march was held at Capitol Hall Park on the Freedom Corner, and reporter Alyssa Lunsford has the story.
Participants of the Women's March on October 2nd were drenched in rain, but that did not take away from their message to the public. Women's bodies are not to be controlled. Organizers Paloma Sarapachi and Lydia Carnell put this march together to have a group of like-minded individuals come together and educate others.
So Women's March is really just about empowering women and bringing attention to reproductive health and reproductive rights. And we decided to organize because obviously Cape Girardeau doesn't have a lot of education or information to topics, so we thought it was important to get a bunch of like-minded, wonderful people together to share information and spread and educate.
Women and men who were at the march were standing for the rights of women's health care. Participants, such as Abby Van Winkle, have been passionate about marches such as these from the values installed in her by her mother.
Don't be afraid to make people uncomfortable.
For the Southeast Arrow, this is Alyssa Lunsford.
In this next story, get to know Professor Bradley Phillips through Museum of Me, a social project introducing strangers to one another through writing. Reporter Kaylee Davis has the story.
Welcome to Museum of Me. Every day we walk past faces with an unknown story behind it. This project hopes to change this perception and make us think a little bit more about the new faces we pass every day.
Corona Recreation Department, Junior Welterweight, Joe Phillips, 1949. This is a boxing trophy that my grandpa Joe got. He was a junior welterweight champion. Back in 1949, this was 3 years before my dad was born. And I don't know, I've been told my grandpa Joe passed away when I was 15. And I've been told many times that him and I are very, very much alike. So I kind of hold on to the things that he had that I was able to get my hands on. And that's one of my favorite things because it's just a part of his life that I never really got to experience. But it gives me a little bit of an insight into who he was and what he did. He was very athletic and he was a pretty cool guy. He was a principal. He was in education just like I am.
You can read the rest of Professor Phillips' Museum of Me by visiting southeastarrow.com. I'm Kaylee Davis, and thank you so much for watching.
This next video shows a little about the Redhawks women's soccer team and how they played the Bird Battle against UT Martin Skyhawks. Reporter Justin Trevelyan has the story.
On Sunday, October 3rd, Southeast women's soccer team took on the University of Tennessee Martin Skyhawks, losing the match 4-1. SEMO struggled on both sides of the ball, with the offense only attempting 2 shots and the defense giving up 14 shots. This loss took the Redhawks down to a record of 0-3 in the Ohio Valley Conference and to 3-8 overall. Redhawks head coach Heather Nelson said the team can take this game as a learning experience.
It's the first time that we've played our system since the preseason game against a 4-3-3, and we grew a lot today. So it's one of those situations where we'll take these learning experiences forward, and I can guarantee that we'll be better.
Southeast's next game is Sunday, October 10th against Austin Peay State University in Clarksville, Tennessee, where the Redhawks will look to get back in the win column. From the Southeast Arrow, I'm Justin Trevelyan.
The Student Activities Council hosted a drive-in movie night for students as a part of their SAC Week. Reporter Allison Lauder has the story.
Drive-in movies have been around for years. Student Activities Council, otherwise known as SAC, hosted Southeast students to the Rock and Roll Drive-In Theater in Chaffee this past Thursday. Clueless and Friday were the 2 movies playing all night. Participants were able to tune into a special radio station to listen to the movies from inside their cars. The drive-in movie was part of SAC Week. SAC Week being a week of events for SEMO students to become familiar with SAC and everything they put on throughout the year. Tavia Eanes is part of SAC and played a huge role in organizing the week, specifically the drive-in movie night.
SAC Week is, for this semester, it's just a week of really to get recruitment and get our name out there so people know who SAC is. So we had events 4 days out of the 5 school week.
SAC Week's events also included painting, game nights, and themed cookouts. The Rock and Roll Drive-In has been openly running for about a year now. Owner Chuck Stratton can speak to the drive-in's success and progress.
And we want everybody to come out and have a great time tonight here at the Rock and Roll Drive-In. Tell your friends, bring them back. I mean, it's a great, fun place, safe to hang out.
For the Southeast Arrow, I'm Allison Lauder.
SEMO student and avid hunter Mason Westerman began preparation in March in hopes for a successful hunting season this year. Reporter Owen Corondo has the story.
Westerman is a senior majoring in wildlife conservation with a minor in soils and geoscience. He started hunting around the age of 9 but did not harvest his first deer until age 11. For Westerman, preparation begins in the spring. This includes shed hunting and planting spring food plots. Shed hunting allows hunters to see what deer are sticking around late in the season, while spring food plots are planted in correlation with farmers planting their agricultural fields. None of this would be possible without the help of his good friend Ethan Eggemeyer. The two have been hunting together since 2019 and love to bounce ideas off of each other. The importance of having a close group of friends is really crucial when it comes to being a successful hunter.
Yeah, I would say it's almost a must because, I have my ideas and, I get set in my ways, but not all my ideas are correct, I like getting input from other people because, they have a different background than I do, so it helps create an idea and an end result that's way better than what I could possibly dream of.
Westerman is trying to build off last year where he harvested a 9-point buck on November 23rd that scored in the 140s. Just 6 short days later, on November 8th, he was able to top this by harvesting a 15-point buck that scored in the 170s. The average score for an Illinois whitetail buck ranges anywhere from 130 to 140 inches. This score is calculated by the sum of antler lengths, point lengths, circumferences, and the inside spread. These are measured in inches to the closest eighth of an inch. For the Southeast Arrow, I'm Owen Corondo.
Without a doubt, there are many options for food here in Cape Girardeau, but there are always the ones that seem to be the town favorites. Last but not least, reporter myself, Ariel Adams, has the story. When searching for places to eat around Cape, Burritoville is among one of the most known and talked about places to go, especially as it pertains to SEMO itself. Lexi Richmond, a Burritoville employee and SEMO student, talks a little bit more about how the restaurant is able to have such a big impact within our culture.
80 to 90% of the people who come in here are either working with SEMO or SEMO students, or are at least locals to Cape. It was the first place I ever came to whenever I was at SEMO. It was the first place that was ever recommended whenever we asked a local worker at a shop somewhere and was like, where's the best place to eat? And Burritoville was number one. I honestly think, there aren't really other places like this. There are Mexican restaurants, but I don't feel like they're really Mexican-inspired places that kind of Americanize it more.
Burritoville is located at 913 Broadway Street, open Monday through Saturday from 10:30 a.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. From the Southeast Arrow, I'm Ariel Adams. And that's it for this week's From the Newsroom. Be sure to follow the Arrow on all social media platforms to make sure you never miss out on new content. Again, I'm your host, Ariel Adams.